This episode is sponsored by Free Market Kids.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Orange Hatter. Today, you're listening to part 3 of my conversation with Elizabeth. Can you explain that a little bit more? How does Bitcoin give you the gift of time?
Because you don't have to worry. I think you don't really need to worry about, like, say you were on a fixed income, and if you had saved in Bitcoin, you you know that your money is not degrading. It gets stronger every 10 minutes that Bitcoin is running. It gets stronger every time a new block is formed, because I know maybe I'm getting into the weeds of it, but every time, as time goes on, the network of Bitcoin gets stronger and more secure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you'll learn about if you keep learning about Bitcoin, why it works. And so that it is important to learn about, because otherwise it just seems like silly money that somebody made up, and those who are in first get to reap the rewards. But it doesn't, but why hasn't it just disappeared?
Right.
And I think just as long as it keeps running, it'll bring about just more interest in it as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So when we're talking about every 10 minutes it gets stronger and every block is mined, we're talking about the protocol, the network. And I think a lot of people new to Bitcoin, or who are what we call pre-coiners, they look at Bitcoin purely from the point of view of the money exchange part, but they're not looking at the protocol, which is the entire network, which secures it in the first place. And when it comes to time saver, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And for me, the time saver is I don't feel like I have to go out and look for investment opportunities, which requires study and investment of effort to preserve the purchasing power of the money that I save today. If you believe in Bitcoin and its protocol and the security it provides, you convert your fiat to Bitcoin and then you can just relax after that. You of course keep studying and keep up with what's going on, but it's not like you have to actively manage it. You don't have to actively calculate the risk and the return. And in terms of investing in stock market, you wouldn't have to study up on the company, figure out what their P&L reports are, and then do all this market research. You save your time from doing that. Or some people, to preserve the purchasing power of their money, they invest in real estate. Well, that also involves risk. If you have a rental property, you got to maintain it. You got to get the deal with the tenants, and you, of course, in the first place, you have to go source it, and to find the right property is key, and that takes a lot of time and effort. So you're sort of saving time doing all of those things to try to preserve your wealth. If you believe in Bitcoin, then you make that conversion, and then you can just and then spend your time doing other things.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Because I used to spend a lot of time learning about all those things and trying to put my money in different places, and yeah, sometimes it works out and sometimes you lose on that volatility. So everybody's still, the fact that you cannot save money and have it purchase the same amount in the future is so generations ago, probably even before our grandparents, because when money had maintained its value, meaning they were basically backed by gold, and the prices over time, because of technological advances, would go down. And so all you had to do was live below your means, save some money, not in anything. You could even save it in a mattress, and it would buy you more tomorrow, meaning tomorrow is any time in the future, than it would at that moment. So, that goes along with the high time, low time preference that Austrian economics, they use a lot, but that it encourages a low time preference, meaning that you prefer to postpone your immediate wants for something in the future because maybe you can get more of that for the same amount of money, or you can, that whole saving up to buy something is almost not very good advice in this current environment.
You can't. And I specifically remember, this is when I was young and stupid, but I specifically remember a conversation in my own head that I had with myself where I was contemplating buying something, and my justification was, if I buy it tomorrow or the next week, it's going to be more expensive. So I'm going to buy it today, because there is zero incentive if I need that thing today to buy it later, to delay the gratification of buying it now, because actually tomorrow it'll be more expensive. And the argument of, well, if you save money today, you can invest it and have more money in the future. What they don't tell you is you can also lose it.
Oh, yeah.
Investment involves risk. But if I buy it today, I am for sure getting this thing today cheaper than it would be tomorrow. That's the way I would justify spending to myself. And I can see young people today thinking the same thing, because they're watching the prices go up. Housing has gone up insanely, out of reach for a lot of people. And what is their incentive to save today except to invest in something that involves risk, because return is tied to the amount of risk you take, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's just, I can see how almost hopeless the situation might seem to students, and then I see them going out to Starbucks and spending $7 for a cup of coffee. And there's some rationale that is happening in their head to make that purchase okay. And I think it's literally just the result of our financial system sort of discouraging them from thinking about the future because it's so uncertain. I sense that a little bit in the young people that I see today. My kids are all young adults, and I can sense it. It's not spoken, but I can sense that feeling. I don't know if you have observed something similar.
Well, it does incentivize it. So in the inverse of that, what we were talking about with the older generation, where they were incentivized to save.
Mm-hmm.
Now you are not incentivized to save. Now you're incentivized to consume.
Right.
And so yes, I think we all feel that in some ways, and we all respond in that way. That you actually, and taken to its height, you would actually need to spend your money immediately upon getting paid if your inflation was high enough, because it will lose value that quickly by tomorrow. And anybody that has gone through hyperinflation, which many countries have many times over, you will see, you see that.
Yeah, I'm sensing a little bit of that myself, actually. When I go buy groceries, I'm like, well, today it's already double the price from 2 months ago, so maybe I should just buy a whole lot today so that I can save now,
Yeah.
because I know 2 months from now it's gonna be whatever percentage higher. I can feel that myself when I go to the store.
Right. Yeah, and under just not feeling the anxiety, meaning that you have this confidence that whatever you bought today will not rise by double. You then would be incentivized not to buy more.
Right.
Right? You don't need it yet.
Yeah. Sort of the just-in-time inventory system that can only work if you trust that the price will stay pretty stable. So
Right. Yeah.
I have always struggled with that notion, but that's for another conversation.
But we're responding to those incentives of the system that we're in.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about the reading group that you have formed to learn more about Bitcoin?
So we have, well, about this time last summer, we started just a 4-week summer session, and it was meet once a week, and 4 weeks because we used Looking Glass Education, and it's just a free online introduction to, I think it starts out with what is money, and there's about 3 or 4 modules. So we just split it up over 4 weeks, and you can do some reading or listening, either way. And then we would get together once a week at a coffee shop in the afternoon and just talk about the last section. So I would take some notes, and a few other people would take notes, and it really fostered just a great conversation. We had quite a few people at our first meetup for that, and so we had several different conversations about it going on. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it was some of our regulars really enjoyed it because we were just meeting once a month, like most meetups do. And so after that, we just decided to start reading a book. And so our first book was the Book of Satoshi, which was just all the early writings. Satoshi was even writing, which that was from basically the writings were from 2009 or 2008 until 2010, because so it was just really early question and answers that were on like some of the early talk forums. Mm-hmm. So from there, we just kind of decided from the last meetup what we wanted to read next. So we've also gone into some articles, more recent articles by like Alex Gladstein. He did a whole IMF deconstruction and World Bank, and that was really good. And so we would do the same thing, just break it up into maybe about 50 pages per week. And then, but all the books since then, or articles, have been just by recommendations from anybody that comes to the meetup, then gets to put input for the next topic.
Yeah, that sounds really fabulous. It's such a nice structured way of coming together with knowledge, because I think one of the concerns that pre-coiners have is once they are convinced that Bitcoin is worth their time studying, they don't even know where to start. There's no clear path specifically for pre-coiners to get to some level of expertise. It's just like a hodgepodge of a lot of information. So having something structured like the Looking Glass, and then specific books and articles that they just find fascinating, the discussion that you end up having will help kind of build that foundation. Even if everybody's coming in with different levels of knowledge about Bitcoin, having that central discussion topic, I think will be so helpful.
Yes, and even after a while too, it seemed that some people may not want to come because we'd be halfway through a book, but I'd always put as a disclaimer that come anyway, because we end up talking about all kinds of things about Bitcoin, because one thing from the book will trigger something in somebody, and then we'll go talk about that. So that way it wasn't something that if you came midway through and you found out about the reading group, that it was still, everybody was welcome and you could have a great conversation even if you didn't read the material.
Yeah.
So that was just a side if you ever decide to do a reading group. If anybody does
sure
want to do that, I have a nice way to continue on with like a transient group, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. I was thinking about doing that with our own meetups, but we're not at a point where we can meet up every week, so I think it makes it a little bit difficult, at least for my particular group. But I've always kept that in the back of my head. I need to copy what you're doing. I think it's really helpful. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. Do you have any last sort of recommendations for people who are sitting on the fence?
It's not too late to learn about Bitcoin. Even, the way I see it is that even the last person that learns about Bitcoin or, the last person that comes to Bitcoin will still be, it would still benefit them, because that would mean, we were on a sound money system. That's what I think. I think it just is something that even if you don't have time, like take some time, because we all waste some time of our day. And maybe what helps me, if I'm wasting too much time, I will schedule it for myself. So schedule, 20 minutes to an hour, maybe about an hour, and just put some time into it and learn about it. It's well worth it.
I hope listening to this conversation has piqued your interest and inspired you. I've been inspired by Elizabeth to start an online reading group for Orange Hatter women. So if you're interested in joining that reading group, please email me directly at tolly@orangehatter.com for more information. Be sure to subscribe to the Orange Hatter podcast so you'll be notified when new episodes drop. Thank you for listening and see you next time. Bye.